Hello, Lantern Road Leopards in the second and third grade. It is time to begin our project that comes from our study of Mexico and the famed artist from Mexico, Frida Kahlo. Frida's home that featured her art studio is now a museum in her honor that features many things she had in her home when she was still living and many of her fine works of art. We are going to create a copy of the Museo Frida Kahlo, which is what her house is now called. When she lived there, it was called the Casa Azul, which is Spanish for the blue house. This is the first of two parts of this lesson. So to get started, we are going to make the house today, and we are going to start the windows and doors. We will do finishing touches and all of the blue that is on the house in the second part of this lesson. Please pardon the earthquake look to the camera view as I bend and change the camera angle so that you can see how to create the house. So as I get this positioned, it might be crooked at first. It is a little wonky, and it's wanting to kind of dip and move on its own. I want to make sure that I am getting my paper in the screenshot. So as we get ready to create our house, I want to show you a finished Museo Frida Kahlo. So this is the blue house, or the Casa Azul. Today it is known as the Museo Frida Kahlo. And we are going to create the house itself today, the windows and doors, their red outline, and the brown stone that is underneath the windows. Next part of the project, we will take care of the blue and her favorite things inside the studio, from flowers to pets to her doll collection. So let's get started with our white paper. After we fold this house, you're going to need green, brown, and red to do the work that must be done today, remembering that this is only the first part of this lesson. I also recommend having a scrap of paper handy in case you must color off the edge of any part of the Casa Azul so that you don't get it on the table or kitchen counter or work surface where you are creating. To get started, we simply fold our paper in half. And yes, we are starting with a rectangle paper. Many times when we fold things, it needs to begin with a square, but not in this case. I'm refolding a little bit because mine was a bit crooked. So I folded in half by bringing the top down to the bottom. We are going to do that again. We're going to leave it folded, but we're going to fold it in half again, and now it looks sort of like the pages of a book. We're going to open that book right back up, and you should have a line right down the middle. That is a guideline for the edges of our paper. We're going to take this edge and fold it into that line we just made. It is helpful when folding to hold on tightly with one hand and fold rightly with the other. Tightly with one, rightly with the other. This is a bit crooked and I want to straighten it up. It will make my other images easier. If you will pardon me, I forgot to turn off my timer. That's what you hear in the background. I apologize for that interruption. I am now going to open these that look like doors, and they will become our doors. However, in order to get this look on our Casa Azul, we need to form a squash fold. It doesn't quite squash down like one might believe. We open these two layers as much as we can at the bottom, and then put your thumbs in and open it almost like a canoe or a boat. Starting to see this part when you see this You can see at the finish how I made it from the start. I'm gonna open this until I can lay it down flat. And guess what? Once you get this, you do the same thing on the other side. Open at the bottom. Use your thumbs to open, 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 till you get to the top and until it will lay down flat. Mine is a little bit wonky or crooked or silly on this side. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see if I can fix that up a little bit. But what I recommend most is, because this may be your first time folding a house, you might wanna make sure you have an extra piece of paper in case you would just like to start over. So next, I'm gonna leave my finished Casa Azul up here at the top of the screen. I am going to add my green doors and windows first. The windows don't come down to meet the ground, so they sort of float in the middle right here, and they simply start with a big old rectangle. You may draw with your crayons, or you may use a pencil first. This big rectangle holds all these small windows, including this one at the top that's called a transom window. So I'm gonna make that one first. It's just a rectangle. Then there are double rectangles, and I'm gonna make the line that goes in the middle of those. I'm gonna make the lines that go across. And there is sort of a fat green rectangle at the bottom. I'm gonna color him, and then I'm gonna make my lines just a little bit fatter. This one a little fatter. Little fatter. This one's gonna be a little chunkier too. And I want this to be a little chunkier all the way around this window. I should have 6 small windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 rectangle window at the top. This is sitting on top of a little stone wall that's brown or brownish black. I am getting close to the edge of my paper, so I'm gonna put my scrap underneath so that I can color right off the edge if I want to, and I don't have to worry about getting the table messy, messy, messy with crayon that might not wipe off. And I won't wrinkle my paper trying to color so close to the edge. I think all artists have had that happen before. I need to put a red lid on top of my green window set. You can see that right here. It's about the size of the transom window. I'm gonna color it in, and then I'm ready to do the very same thing on the other side. I don't care for how that line is so very lumpy and bumpy because it should be a little bit straighter. So this side is finished. No blue today. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this side by adding my, pardon me, green window that starts with just one big rectangle. And it's gonna give me all that I need inside of this big rectangle. It's about the same size as this one. They won't be exactly the same, and that's all right. Just get close. I'm gonna draw that midline again. 1, 2, 3 lines, so it divides it up into 6. I'm gonna get this rectangle colored green. Please, please remember that I never expect you to work as quickly as I do. I have made these before, and not just the one you see finished at the top of the screen. I've made many of these. So I have experience, which makes me quicker, and I have a finished result ready for you so that I can point to things that I've already done. That allows me to go faster too. I might make this a little bit longer. See how this one's longer than this one? And I'm just gonna do that by adding a little extra green to that rectangle at the bottom, just to make him a little bit longer. I'm gonna go ahead and add my stone, and I'm gonna get that scrap paper ready too, so I can color right off the edge. Then I don't get a mess on my table. Or if you're working at your home, you won't have a mess on your kitchen counter or your desk in your room if it's not supposed to have messes you can't remove. I'm gonna lift this flap up a little bit. I kind of want that brown to go on underneath the flap so it just shows up a little more nicely right there. I may go back and do that over here too. I really just don't like that white line showing, but you can leave it if you don't care. It's time to put that red lid on here. Just like I did on the other side. And because you are second and a half graders, and third graders, or third and a half graders, I think you can tell after watching me create these two windows how to create your doors. When you see the finished sample, and there is an image of this finished sample underneath the video box that you're watching right now, you can see how to draw the doors on these two flaps, the red outline that goes all the way to the ground, and you can see how to draw the museum sign. That is all that we are doing for this part of the lesson. There is no way that we would get done in one art visit with the whole Casa Azul. So next part of the project, we take care of blue and we take care of drawing Frida's favorite things inside. So my artists, I can't wait to see you submit your house with green windows, green doors, the red outlines and caps, and the stone wall under the windows, and your Museo Frida Kahlo sign, all prepared and ready for the next half of the project next time.